be able to record.
Okay.
Wanda's not here to help me today, so that would be excellent.
Okay, I hit record. Yes, it's recording. Okay, good.
Okay, good, thank you. So let's begin on the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here with the Zoom meetings. My name is Tashi Powers, and thank you all for coming. We have been discussing the mysteries of the Venus Pentagram for a while. Linda started us out, and we've really been digging into it. And so today we're going to look at this phenomena of Venus as an evening star in something that is called her balsamic phase, as she is to now the third gate of the Venus moon gate. And so as she's an evening star and she's returning to her place as the Queen of Heaven in Ishtar, in the old myths of the Babylonian and Sumerian myths, we have this ascent process where we see Venus in the night sky. And apparently this is a season of empowering of the feminine. So I'm really in square one, as my teacher Trungpa Rinpoche used to say, observing and learning about it. And we're going to do that together today, looking at the charts of many volunteers. And so we'll get started. And Linda, is my screen on?
Yes, the slides are showing very well.
Okay, so here it is, gates 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to go over these positions where Venus is in her ascent process. So you can see the last pentagram was in Capricorn. So you'll have to go back if you haven't been following us and see that Venus makes these 5 pentagram points of a pentagram that are called a Venus star, a pentagram point star. Everybody has names for it, but it's really what's going on in reality. And so the one that we just passed was on May 17th, and it was at 27 Gemini. Many of you astrologers will know that this is the galactic center, so I put a little bit in here to talk about the galactic center today. And I gave it a keyword, new input and new visions, getting it together to fit into the social order to serve it. I decided a lot of people have been working on the Sumerian myths of Inanna and Ishtar, and I decided, since I had had Joseph Campbell as a teacher, to use his monomyth and see how it worked. So there's an exploration of that going on in my work. And here is the monomyth. Here is the stages of codependence, and then these stages of independence, which are very long, and then the stages of interdependence. All right, and so the full phase is across this horizon. The beginning 0 is up here, and then this just goes through. You can see the new phase, the crescent phase, all of them. Okay, here's the gibbous. Just you'll have to study this. It's too much, but we are in this. All right, and so we're in around this area right now, around 10 for this this Gemini one. And it is happening also, here they are again. Linda, thank you so much for putting this together. My life has been crazy busy lately, so it's been very pleasant to have your wonderful help. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the galactic center. 27 Gemini and 27 Sag are the galactic center. And Philip Sedgwick, if you young astrologers don't know him, and for myself, I went back and reread him and went, oh, I forgot all this. So when a gate of Venus opens up opposite the galactic center, pay attention to expansion time and to embrace it. And I was really hearing this word expansion. So what Philip Sedgwick says, is that the galactic center radiates brilliant insight to anyone connected with it. By connected, he means, do you have a planet from probably 25 to 29 of this Sag Gemini? It doesn't work to have it square it. It's got to be on this axis, okay? What happens is all of this brilliant energy comes through this galactic center down through what I call the 10th gate, right into your crown chakra and down into you. And you get these epiphanies and these insights and this brilliant capacity to grow and expand if you follow up on this brilliant energy that's coming into you. And so he talks about those of us who do take advantage of it and how much of it is coming through everybody, how this plethora of ideas exists, and it's not territorial, it's not proprietary, competition is ridiculous to the wise ways of the galactic center. It's time for sharing, caring, and enriching self and others. This inclusion of the age of Aquarius that evolutionary astrology and Jeffrey Green has given to us. All right, so this one was on this center. So I'm hoping that as we go through some of these examples, we talk about how this brilliant light and energy was coming through, you will want to share that with me, okay? And then let's go back to here. So here is the current Venus star. So here's a picture of the 5-pointed star, and the next one's in Scorpio. But even though my drawing is a little off, that's the Scorpio one that's coming. You can see that in October, the 26th of October, 2018. The retrograde inferior conjunction of Venus will be on this one. And we just had Capricorn, we go to Scorpio, then we go to Leo, then we go to Gemini, we go to Aries. These are the 5 points. These are very, very tender points. And since Pluto is passing over a Sun-Venus point, and this is the nodes of Pluto, the one we've just had is very powerful. So in evolutionary astrology, Capricorn is for getting rid of domination submission paradigms. Scorpio is about surrendering to all that is, to God, and realizing that you're really not in control and trying to figure out how to merge with the God highway, all right? And that's the one we're coming to. And so I wanted you to see this Fibonacci. For those of you who don't know this, this is kind of the energy of the universe of these planets, where it'll ping on something, there's 28 Gemini, then there'll be another one, there'll be another one, another one, another one, and it keeps unfolding. When you see that, when you start to study aspects, and you'll see something is very highlighted through eclipses, through new moons, full moons, oppositions of planets, stations of planets. We've had a lot of that going on at 21 Gemini, for those of you who are paying attention to transits or know how to do that. And so this 27, 28 Gemini that the Venus new moon gate, third gate, was on, it is resonating with these sacred geometry, all right? So that's just something in there for you to look up on your own, because it's a whole class in itself. And here's a beautiful picture of the birth of Venus. So lovely. Thank you so much, Linda, for that. And now the galactic center. So I'm moving quite quickly. Here is the actual chart of the third gate of Venus. So as many of you who have listened to me speak before, I studied political astrology with Judy Johns, and so I became aware of their habit of using the capital of a country as the location for the placement of the aspect that you want to look up. So we want to look up the exact moon Venus for the American collective, since I'm living in America. And here it will be in the 10th house for the American collective. If you're listening to this from another country, you run it for the capital city of your country, and then you'll have the collective of yourself. Nothing changes, of course, but the houses. But the houses are very significant in astrology. They show us the activity. And so the Moon-Venus conjunction for the American collective in general is this galactic center energy in leadership. Well, we were having tremendous lessons of leadership with Pluto on its own nodes. Can you be self-empowered? And this one is the moon. Can you be self-sufficient? Venus, self-reliant. And as I was looking back through some of the myths of Inanna, I was seeing that she was really teaching women all through history. The goddess energy is be self-sufficient, be self-reliant. And we know through evolutionary astrology that Jeffrey has given us Taurus Venus, which is self-reliance, and Libra Venus, which is listening and learning to merge with others, share with others. So this is a Gemini one in the Capricorn house, naming, categorizing. Those are some EA keywords. And the ruler of Gemini is Mercury, and it's conjunct Uranus in the 8th, and they're in mutual reception. So Mercury in Taurus for beginners is ruled by Venus in Gemini. Venus in Gemini is ruled by Mercury in Taurus. So these 6 points of the Mercury-Uranus, Pallas Athena, Moon at 27, Venus at 27, and just forget the asteroids, I'm sorry I put that in, are resonating and working together, like if you were to play a piano chord, they ping together. They're a chord, C-H-O-R-D, all right? So Mercury-Uranus means originality, freedom from the known. In Taurus, I'm calling this the Vishnu energy of Uranus. I use the Vedic myth for Uranus, the sky god. And because it's older and deeper, and there's a lot more information there for us. And so this organizing aspect of organizing our reality in a brand new way based on new values that are emerging. And this moon Venus, because of our self-reliance, because of our discernment, Capricorn, because of our dignity, Capricorn, because of our decision to be maybe prominent in our community, to lead, to be strong, to be good, moon Venus, to be bountiful, to be blissful. These are all kind of just the very simple aspects of this chart, and the sun in Taurus resonates and helps this 8th house, 9th house. 9th house in evolutionary astrology is one of the nicest houses. It's the Sag house. Taurus is about self-reliance, and Sag is about natural law. So there will be many of us deciding that we can be more in tune with natural law over the next month from one gate to the other by using our ability to tune into natural law, to study it, to learn it. And the sun opposite Jupiter, it's wide and it's leaving, but still, Jupiter is pretty big and the sun is pretty important. So for me, a 9-degree aspect leaving, yes, it's leaving, which means it's an easier opposition. We are integrating into the social order, the full phase, and learning. So there's, then of course, this month we have the Mars South Node, North Node opposition, and Ceres is there. So fighting Ceres, going forward, what we nurture. And Mars South Node, not getting stuck, but going forward, finding new friends, new goals, expanding ourselves, not being afraid of expansion because of this big T-square, letting ourselves open our mind. No matter how open your mind is, I bet you can open a little bit more right now with this lovely T-square. All right, and so let's see what else is in the intro here. Here are some of the things I'm saying about gate 3. New input and new visions, getting it together to fit into the social order, to serve it because of the 10th house. Naming, categorizing. Saraswati is the deity for Mercury. A mantra for Mercury is communicate with clarity. Tell the truth if you want to perceive the truth. If you want to know how things work, study Mother Nature. A colleague of mine, Antero Ali, if you know him, he's not an evolutionary astrologer, he's brilliant, called Gemini gatherer of data about 2 decades ago. God. The sign of Gemini, we are learning to observe all the possible dimensions of a situation. I'm a Gemini, and my whole life people, of course, have accused me of changing my mind. I mean, like, okay. Geminis change their mind on a dime because they see the dichotomies. And I heard somebody say they see all 12 dimensions. I think it was Rosicrucians of things. And Geminis can see the shadow in a situation and can offer the light to the darkness. Gemini's playful, and when evolved, very, very truthful. If you lie, you confuse the subconscious mind of others, okay? So Geminis have to learn to tell the truth. Oops, when you meet Geminis, you'll see that they are learning. They are very challenged by the lies people tell them because their subconscious is perceiving it. But truth is relative, and truth is always expanding into all that is, into God consciousness. So Geminis can become obsessed with needing to know, and in the beautiful evolutionary astrological glossary that Linda made for Jeffrey, worked on and edited and did such an amazing job on, the thing that I loved was said in there is Geminis need to know that the mind cannot know everything, that the heart has to perceive things. And in Tibetan Buddhism, they say that the heart must, that's where the mind is in the heart. So they have a whole different perspective about it. And I always found that very, very interesting. So this is the overview. I'm going to see if anyone has any questions about the overview. It's a lot of information about Gemini, the Galactic Center, and if not, we'll go on to a little bit early, which is fine, we'll go on to the volunteers. I'll take a tea break and ask if anyone wants to ask me anything. I don't see the chat.
So Tashi, could you go to Carolyn's chart first? Her data is limited.
Okay.
Fantastic, and then back to Alexandra after that.
Sure. Okay.
Thanks.
So let's begin with you, Caroline. and Carolyn, sorry. So here we have your journal, and I think I'll switch to your third page now. Oh, Linda, I was going to ask you this earlier. I made notes on this page, and I'm trying to now figure out, how do I see my notes? I click notes, and then I click back up. Okay, there we go. All right. So, and I think you can maybe read the notes yourself. I'm not sure. Carolyn?
Tashi, could you, no, that's okay. Everything's fitting on the screen now. It's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Carolyn, your third gate is at 27. Oh, that's supposed to be Gemini. Everybody's third gate is at 27 Gemini, so that's a no-brainer. And it is in your third house, and it's conjunct your VPP at 2 Cancer. I've now been working with these, and I realize they do have a range, okay? I'd give at least 3 to 5 degrees on either side of them. And so your mind and your ability to teach, it said people were offering you chances to give talks to people, to be given support for others. That all looks like a gate in the third house. And then if you remember what I said about the galactic center, the epiphanies that will come through you to really help people, I think will be that energy of the galactic center in your third house. You have your Jupiter at 22 Sag. I'm not sure how close a 22 Sag is to the galactic center. I'm going to say it's on it. Do you get a lot of epiphanies, Carolyn? Oh, you're muted, honey. So when you unmute, I'm going to assume that you get a lot of these opportunities. We didn't test you. Oh, somebody.
Hi.
Hi there.
Are you?
I'm here.
Oh, good. I'm on my little Samsung phone, and I don't know how to use it.
Oh, okay. Learning curve.
I get downloads. I get epiphanies all my life. I just decide things, not 6 times a year, but often pretty big things I decide because it's an epiphany.
And I think that's what Philip Sedgwick is saying about the galactic center. And now the lesson with Jupiter is, I believe with this Jupiter-Uranus opposition is, well, do I act on them or not? And so the ones you don't act on, you probably see, he says you see other people acting on them, and you go, I had that idea. I was going to start Apple, you know? That's so far ahead of me. Now he makes a joke about how Sagittarius is, you know, they're a Sag when you go to a dinner party and they say that, but do you act out on these things?
No, my epiphanies they can be teaching related in that I suddenly know how to show somebody how to do something.
Good.
Or I have a teacher say, why don't you move to California for a year? And I go, yeah, and I do.
Well, I think that's that. I think this is the VPP opposite your Jupiter, giving you this chance to teach now. And then your North Node Mercury is activated by the Gemini Venus Moon Gate. You see that?
Yeah.
Because the next pentagram point will be right on your South Node Mercury conjunction.
Yes.
And I think we have to watch, like the Fibonacci, we have to see these things as they're unfolding, all right? And so it's a series of energy as moving towards it's a huge thing to have one of these pentagram points land right on a planet. So I think with your Mercury, I'm not sure if the one-on-one teaching of the 7th house will work best for you, or if it's time to take that Pluto ruling your Mercury in Scorpio, 4th, 5th house cusp right there with Venus, and do something creative like start writing or blogging or journaling. You know, people don't write that much anymore. So, well, they write, but they write in new mediums. Have you thought about writing? Because it'll be about.
I have over the years. In the last, I would say, 8-9 months, I uncovered a trauma that I had buried in my subconscious. And I find that a lot of things now are possible, that I'm not trying to hide that event from myself.
Okay.
So I've tried to write, I've tried to write over the years, but I could never sustain anything. I could never go deep. And I feel now I can.
Good. Well, your Mercury is trine your Uranus, so you really do have, in water, you do have the ability to, you know, ground yourself in this water, even though they're in air houses, ground yourself. I just feel like there's a lot of communication gifts with your Jupiter up there in the ninth that you can teach others. And so I'm happy that you're getting this experience. Do you have a question for me about this?
Not really, Tashi. What you share is brilliant and it shines for me.
Thank you. Well, I think you should really, you know, have a new look at your Jupiter opposite your VPP, because I'm going to give it a much wider berth right now, and realize that this opportunity to teach is coming on one of these gates. And the more that I'm consulting and looking at charts, the more I'm seeing how these gates really work. They're very, very significant, and I'm sure they're going to become mainstream eventually, because, you know, we're just beginning to work with them. There are little pockets around the internet of people who give talks, but I hope to see, especially Wendy, one of our own.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm glad you're giving things a wider org.
Yes, me too.
That's the way I think things work.
With meditation especially, right?
Yeah.
That's what Jeffrey said. He said some people are open to whole sign. I remember him saying that.
Tashi, it's Linda.
Yeah.
Linda, I've paused the recording here, and we're going over time, so...
Okay,
but that's okay, but listen, Tashi, hang on a second. Can you see the red marks on the page?
Yes, I didn't do that.
No, I think, doesn't matter who did it, but could you...
I can tell you, it's from Carolyn's phone. It happens on the phone. It happened to me before.
If you could go to the annotation tools...
Okay.
Where?
And try and delete. And if it doesn't work, if you could stop the share and come back in.
Are you talking to me?
No.
Okay. Because
I did it.
That's it. Okay, great. So, Tashi, I'm going to resume the recording. If you could, go to Alexandra's next.
Yeah. Let's just get...
Beautiful. I'll just wait till you're ready.
Yeah, I mean, it won't...
Thank you.
You don't want the eraser, you want...
It won't give me the mouse.
You can choose the red one, the red highlighter.
Okay, I've got the mouse. I'm happy with the mouse. Because I need the mouse. Yeah, I need it. So let's see.
All right then. So don't forget, we can do 6 minutes each or 5 minutes each with a little bit of Q&A at the end.
Yeah, I'm going to, because I've got 2 more slides at the end, so I'm going to do 4 minutes.
All right, 4 minutes, and I'll remind you in the chat.
Okay, and I've got it now. I've got it right.
Okay. Resuming on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
So hi, Alexandra. You're here, and you're next. So you have put up your journals, and we see that your VPP 4 is 24 Gemini. So many of us have this late Gemini VPP. And then your experience now is talking about work. And I did put a bunch of notes in. This is really weird. I don't see the notes. Okay.
The notes are on slide 13.
Oh, thank you. What would I do without you? There we go. They don't show up. Your third gate is at 27 Gemini in the 10th house, which of course is the house of working hard, career, and activating your VPP1 at 24 Gemini. You're talking about assuming responsibilities. That's such a 10th house experience, and that indicates that that's what you would be doing. And then we can look at your chart. And so you have the opposition here to Neptune as well. And I noticed that people, especially people who are coming to me with Neptune transits, are having issues of deception, that they're having to see things much more clearly than they have in the past. So you didn't mention that because you're just working so much, right? Did you have any? Did you have any experience of perception change, like that Neptune thing of either more manifestation of all that is in something, or realizing that something that was being presented wasn't quite what it really was? Which way did it go?
During that period, I was really
hardworking because there were major changes in the company where I work.
Right, I read
So
about
maybe,
that. Yeah.
yeah, and I just didn't have time to do anything else. But I can say now after that period, after 18, because I went on the vacation, now everything is coming down, and it's like I'm open to make some new shift in my personal life as well,
Oh, good.
to take new responsibilities in one completely other way than before. And that's what's going on. It's not just that I realized something that wasn't working. No, it's just like one new whole space is opening, and but in more calm way,
And for all of,
in one natural calm way, and that's nice.
and for everybody, you know, this is a galactic center type of experience. And so for you, you have Vesta at 28 Scorpio. So it's interesting that it's pinging that same degree, your Mercury Moon Vesta, also the hard work in you, and you were learning a lot at work as well. And
Yes.
yeah, this will unfold over the next month, you know, until the next one, which will be in Leo.
Mm.
And you don't have anything at the degree of the next one. So I think these are like the Fibonacci. They just keep resonating. So keep learning what you're learning and keep allowing yourself to really take advantage of the energy of the galactic center, having come through one of these gates in your 10th house, and see how that unfolds. It should unfold for quite a while. I think just in general for everybody, Linda had put this up here for us, probably until this next Gemini one in 2020, this will probably resonate for all of us. You're going to see the Fibonacci energy going through July 3rd of 2020. Okay, you have, we're out of time unless you have a quick question for me.
It's okay. I like the work. I like to follow the rhythm and to discover each passage, each gate. And thank you very much for your help and your guidance.
Sure. I hope it's such a quick amount of time. Okay, I'm going to reset. Okay, so
Dawn's not here.
Oh, not here. So we'll have to skip again for
down to Erica.
Erica.
Okay.
Erica. All right. Start. Okay. So let's see what I wrote about you. It's in your third house, right here at the cusp of your third house, and it looks like it's very close to your VPP, which is 22 Gemini. All right. And it's opposing your Mars, and you talked about the male-female experience, confrontation, opposition, or integration of who you really are as you seek perfect mirrors and partners. The natural law of attraction can also bring creative epiphanies through partnership, because the Venus-Mars can be creative partnerships. And of course, the opposition can be increased awareness. As we, in the full phase, we become ready for that ability to take everything that's integrated in the first 6 signs, and then in that Libra energy, we're ready to face others. And so what you said in your gate was very, very indicative of this opposition, right?
Yeah. Think so?
Yeah. And then, of course, you have the galactic center. You have Mars there. So what do you do with your galactic center Mars energy in your 9th house?
What do I do with it?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I mean, it's hard to know, like, when it hits me, or, you know, I'm always feeling like I'm getting a creative idea, but acting on it and having the, you know, ability to act on it are 2 different things, maybe.
Okay.
But, I mean, around the time of the gate, I suppose a past relationship had entered my life. Like, his Venus is opposite that Mars. So he was in, you know, his Venus, he was in his Venus return at that time. So, and this is a relationship, you know, that goes back to 2012. And, you know, I had been over him for a while, and now all of a sudden he's in the forefront of my life, or on my mind again. But I don't really know where it's going. A few days later, like I was at work. I'm working a lot. I've been gaining a lot more jobs over the years, or over the course of these gates. Like I have like three jobs now, and I met this woman, and she was telling me about what it's like to be an entrepreneur, and you know, we've had like 2 coffee dates. We had one today, and then I have another one next Saturday. But you know, she gave me a book called The Go-Giver, and I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm just going with the flow. It's kind of what's happening. I don't really want to rush.
Yeah, you do have that lovely North Node in the 10th house, so learning to figure out your career. And,
yeah,
you know, the balsamic new moon right there with the North Node. So obviously you're very intent on becoming successful, and you'll make it, you know. And I think using the galactic center energy in this last pentagram point Venus gate, the 3rd gate, to really use your energy and to really study natural law, the natural law of the 9th house, so that you can get yourself that Mars, Uranus energy, Mercury, Neptune, Saturn. I love you, millennials. Just get it all geared to going forward and creating something really strong and beautiful. That's what you're all here to do.
Yeah, I really like this book, The Go-Giver. It was really about like natural law. It was a lot about giving and sharing. Like that's the idea behind the business idea. So it really spoke to me in that sense with natural law, and that's why I'm kind of like going with whatever she wants to show me. But
moving on.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we'll do Jennifer. Thank you, Erica. And your gate is in the 10th house, this one. And so back to the 10th house, activating your VPP2. And you dreamt of your father. So Uranus, Moon, Pluto, and Mars in Virgo can certainly trigger. Also, you talked about issues of sexual gender identity and sexual preferences. The 10th house is also connected to this in EA. Leadership success is finding your capacity to serve the greater society, your local community, the PTA, the bowling team, whatever it is, whatever the world around you, whatever level of the world around you, this 10th house is unfolding for you. And with your Mercury-Venus conjunction, you know, you have a real gift with that. Venus is on the nodes of Venus. So writing, manuals, again, I see writing. I'm not sure if I just have writing on the brain, but writing how to live in the body. Saturn, natural ruler of the midheaven. The 10th house is in the 6th house in Aquarius. A book on health. I don't know what you do. What are you interested in writing, Jennifer?
I do a lot of writing already, but I'm also a Pilates teacher, and I am living with the results of a brain injury. So I've actually been doing a lot of writing about how to live in my brain injured body.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
How to live in the body. I think you have a gift to help people learn that, and I think that's what I see this. Oh, I didn't reset. So someone's going to have to definitely tell me when to stop. I'll watch, Linda. Okay, and so that's what I see for you. The 10th house one. The next one is not on anything exact. If it is on somebody's exact thing, but the October one is going to be on your Scorpio Lilith, Neptune. So probably learning something that you don't know anything about would be really good for that 3rd house Gemini. Going after it with your heart, going after it through meditation, through dreams, all of those Neptunian gifts that come to us is going to be that activation. If you have a question for me, I'll stay here. Otherwise, I'll just go ahead.
No questions. I just want to say thank you. I found the whole process really insightful, and I appreciate looking at things differently through that lens.
It's very interesting, isn't it? And I haven't even mentioned to tell everybody that I did publish my book finally. Yay! Yay! It's very difficult, arduous, but so these workbooks are available, and we'll talk about that at the end. Okay, Camellia, we have your 3rd gate in the 9th house. You see it up there? Close to your VPP4. So we look up here, and we see your VPP4 is at 27 Gemini. So you're born with a VPP4 and a South Node on the galactic center. So shall we just call you E.T.? Do you feel a little alien? Little goddess?
I do.
Well, you would, and that's a lovely, lovely gift, really. And then in Sagittarius, on this galactic center, we have Juno, Lilith, Ceres, and the North Node and Venus. So all of this got activated, all right? And so you're looking at the boundary issue, probably of your Venus-Saturn opposition. It's probably activating the areas of Venus-Saturn opposition in water, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the epiphany aspect of this galactic center energy for you is, what is the gift that came through to you? And I think, if we're looking at it as astrologers, for young astrologers, I will look at the Sagittarius, I'll look at the Jupiter and see where it is, because it's the natural ruler of the 9th house. And I'll look at Mercury as it's ruling. We talked about Gemini quite a lot on a slide back there, all the qualities of Gemini. And I'll see what's the relationship of this Mercury-Jupiter in this chart. And we'll see that Mercury's balsamic, it's past the square. It's 16 degrees past the square, so it's 90 plus, so it's 106. So it's in one of those lovely, magical little aspects of synchronicity to your Jupiter. And so then I would know that this epiphany quality in the 9th house for you could come through your Mercury and Scorpio detective kind of energy. Money, self-reliance, self-sufficiency, sharing with others, and Jupiter in the 4th in Aquarius. Finding your tribe, or as Melanie said, your hive. Did you have some of those experiences as well?
I'm really looking into ways of trying to do more teaching and spreading the word about the evolutionary astrology and the DMP, which is what I also am involved with, and trying to make this my source of income. It's a huge challenge for me, because with that Libra energy, I'm scared in a way to be seen, and in order for you to go out there and spread the word, you have to be seen. So there's been a lot about that too. I don't know. But
your Mercury in Scorpio and your Sun in Scorpio certainly has to learn the polarity point, of the 7th, 8th house, of letting yourself not be so Pluto in the 12th house, but what's the polarity point? Service. And so if you pull yourself out of it through service, your moon Chiron is happy to do that. It's in Aries. And your Pluto in Libra will naturally attract lots of lovely people once you say, well, I'm going to use the angelic aspect of myself and the higher aspect of myself and the greatest, highest good. So therefore, shyness is not the Scorpio aspect of shyness. It's just a bad pattern that somehow you just have to let go of it, because it won't help you at all. And, we do get disciplined enough at some point in our life to go, yeah, enough of that. It's not working. Right?
Yeah.
It comes down to that. And you spend the 10,000 hours, that wonderful book, and you say, I'm going to put 10,000 hours in doing it a different way. And the results will come, and then you'll have a new pattern. And of course, Pluto's polarity point in the 6th house, ruling that Mercury, which is ruling your VPP and the gate up there in the 9th, for you to teach and earn money in the 2nd house requires that you really integrate 6th house. You really integrate.
Mm. Yeah, it's a big thing with the 6th house, because I do have to have some methodical process and do step-by-step thing. But in my, you get pulled into where the Pluto is. So I have this, oh my God, there is so much that needs to be done. I don't know where to start from. I'm not going to do anything. So, but the transits are pretty strong. So I don't think I can, eventually.
I'm really hoping that we all learn to use the Vishnu energy of Uranus and organize ourselves in such a way that we can get grounded with this Taurus energy and move forward, all of us. And as it opposes your Sun and Mercury, you will hope that you're doing that. Okay, Linda is telling me it's time to move on. So Melanie, let's just back up one. So the VPP for you is at 1. 1 is 24 Gemini, and it's here in your 7th house. And so I call the seventh house the art of living department, because we really have to learn how to get along well with others in this seventh house. And so coming out today and giving a talk is part of this Mercury experience. And channeling, I mean, look at your chart. You know, you do have these wonderful, wonderful upgrades, as you call them, and he calls them downloads. So your VPP is very close to the axis of the galactic center, and probably your Neptune is too. And so working with others on a one-on-one is probably always going to give you the ability to have great insight, opposite that Neptune, if you pull that together. And this one would really be helping it too. So teaching today, your talk was wonderful, really wonderful. And the next one is going to be at 3 Scorpio, and I think I noticed that it's on your Mars and your VPP4. So it's not really on your VPP4, but it's kind of close, and it's on your Mars. And so that's in the 11th house, and that could be you initiating a whole new level of some kind of interesting, I don't know what it is you want to do, but a pioneering, and in the community. You know, you may start your own blog, or who knows. The 11th house to me is looking always like the internet. There's so much going on. I mean, I love EA, and there's so much more going on too. Do you have a question for me?
I'm not sure. I got excited when I saw that the VPP5 was it 23 degrees Leo?
Oh, the next one you mean?
I figured that's a little, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just looking ahead.
Okay.
I know it's a little ways off, but
that's why I keep it over here. The Leo one is 21 Leo.
Oh, 21 degrees, yeah.
2019. Yeah, these, you should memorize these, all you young astrologers, all of us old astrologers. We should memorize these, because these are part of the Fibonacci. These are unfolding in so many ways over the next years. Okay, so you got excited because of what?
Oh, just because the connection to my North Node.
Oh, yeah, okay. Let's see. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm also excited for that activation of that Mars energy. I'm resisting a little bit less these days. I'm starting to feel like I'm ready to move forward and working with the energies that present themselves to me. I work with them behind the scenes so much. So it's a new phase in my life where I'm coming forward, and there's fear there, you know, still. But the part where I work with people around these things and bring those messages forward, I have been a big piece that what I was talking about, my big coming out, that was in the form of a blog, or I guess an online journal, but it's a website where I can offer my services, and just the part where I had to sit down and write out what my services are was really healing for me, because it's claiming, like, this is what I can do. I can help you, come to me, you know, if you need help in these areas. And for me to acknowledge that, put myself out there, and just spelling out all the different ways that that I work was a big deal for me. But then the open journal, where I get to share about my experiences and how I arrive at these lessons and my understandings, was another big piece. And my throat still really closes up around that. And there's that's all that happening online. It feels really relevant, you know, what you're describing. But also coming up, when you talk about something that may be to come around that, I feel like there is a big piece that I haven't been open with yet.
Okay, well, we're going to get to that. I'm going to save time. I'm going to save time, so we'll get to that at the end. Okay, Sarah, Linda's moved me forward here. Your third gate is at 27 Gemini in the 11th house, all right? And so you were talking about pridefulness and snobbishness, and that is really the polarity point of the narcissism of the 5th house. And, you know, I'm part of that Pluto and Leo generation, so I certainly know the shadow of Leo. All my friends and I, we have it all. We all have it, and we're always on the lookout for it. Strengthening friendships and the vertex-Neptune opposition is bringing into balance your 5th house self-expression. So that galactic center, now I don't think that EA uses the vertex, but the vertex is the true west. So if you live in the country, or you live somewhere where you can see sunset, you'll see that in the summer, the sunset is further north, and in the winter, it's further south. I guess it's opposite in the southern hemisphere. And so this vertex point on your Neptune means that people see you and feel you quite spiritually. They have a very intrinsic, just instant feeling of your spirituality, and you're able to channel because of this vertex Neptune, which you probably didn't realize if you don't use the vertex that you had this. And so this VPP is activating that for you. It's activating that vertex so that the self-other is, you're much more open to others. And I think that is helping you really see the level of progress that we have to make in interdependence, is that we have to see the dimensions of how everything is an aspect of everything else, as well as an aspect of ourself. And so the Neptune vertex would be that galactic center energy that this VPP is awakening in you. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it totally makes sense. I mean, and it's super uncomfortable. Like I've just been, it's just because it's such a change, I mean, because I've also got other stuff going on with my natal Pluto and my sun, like Pluto's squaring my Pluto right now, and it's conjunct my sun on top of all this. So I really feel like a lot of conditioning is being lifted so that I can get out of myself and my ego and hear other people and perform the work that I do, which is very much service oriented in a way that is not about me. It's about giving my customers, my clients, the information that I feel that they need, that I do channel from source.
Of course.
So yeah, it definitely makes sense.
And Pluto is sitting on your sun. And, I don't know anybody who's comfortable in their skin right now. Everybody is squirming. Pluto is on its nodes. And it is asking all of us to go wider, to go for the greater good, to go bigger, to go deeper. Nobody is comfortable. Nobody. And I myself have stepped up my meditation practice a lot because I'm just not comfortable. I listen to mantras. I do a lot of selfless things. I decided to give a gift away for 40 days just to get out of myself and out of this level of discomfort. Uranus is in Taurus. It's new. It's a change, opposite Chiron, where everybody's talked about it today. And so, but this beautiful VPP has given us tremendous gifts, okay? Okay, it's time to move on to Wendy. Wendy, I don't see your notes. So we're going to have to go back to the note page unless it's on the next page. It could be on your last one. Hold on. No. Wendy. Third gate at 27 Gemini is on the ascendant, Wendy. You win the prize. You get the door prize for the most intense transit of the VPP. Not the VPP and the third gate. So you're born with the ascendant Jupiter descendant axis on the galactic center, and you are a very cosmic lady. So hallelujah. And this is probably helping wake all of that up. I put a lot of astrology in here because I know you speak it well. Gemini it's in the ascendant. Okay, so the gate is activating your VPP5 ascendant Jupiter Vesta chord. Jupiter teaching, sacred work Vesta. Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, also siblings, learning, teaching, naming, categorizing, networking. All these things this VPP should be helping you to do. How do you feel the third gate, as Anana puts back on her golden hip girdle, at the solar plexus? Because I know you're very interested in that dimension of this. Has this been a period of self-empowerment for your personality that is very much, because you wrote it right here, third gate of personal power. Are you feeling that? I think it'd be great to share that with us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, most definitely. I feel like in going back and writing going from the second gate and as approaching into the third gate, I was feeling it more and more. But I'm also born with a Gemini Venus star, which is a little different than the Venus star point. And so I'm at the third gate as a Venus star, solar plexus.
I can't wait to get teaching us. I can't wait.
That's my dynamic in this life, power, right? My power issues. And so it's been very powerful because Neptune is exact on my Saturn right now and opposing my Pluto. And then as Venus was moving along, I mean, I I've been getting tons of referrals for animal communication from veterinarians and all just people referring other people. And it's been amazing, amazing, beautiful work. Super healing. My guides just doing all this incredible work, and like a dog that was chained to a tree for 2 years and had been rescued, and he was terrified. And I cried for like the first 15 minutes on the phone with him, just pouring out his energy, like releasing the emotions for him. And then St. Francis and all these archangels came and they took the noose off his neck. And I mean, it's just beautiful. So I feel like I'm having a major renewal.
Great.
And, you know, so it's been lovely. And, I do have a few challenges with people coming that are challenging, my energetic alignment, and I'm having to make decisions about that. Like, do I let them go? How do I do this? You know?
Yeah, I think with Neptune on Saturn, you definitely let people go. Like, you just have to look at it very carefully and go, have I outgrown this? Is this now something that looks delusional or illusional? You know, it's a generational transit. And I remember when I went through it, I went, oh my God, I've outgrown most of my friends. What do I do? I just went and made a whole new tribe of friends. I really did. And I'm still friends with some of those people, but a lot of them, I just thought I've outgrown them. And I was studying with Jeffrey then, and he was like, you've outgrown all these people, move on. Like, move on. Like, oh.
It's just like really one person in particular, maybe two. So other than that, you know, things are just really juicy. And I'm coming into, like, I'm going to be teaching, and all these things are happening, and it's just a lot of flow.
Okay, so here's the next one. We're moving on because we have a few minutes left, 7 minutes. The fourth gate of Venus, I wanted to give you just a little bit of a preview because I won't be back in June, is going to be here in Leo, all right, with the North Node. And it's going to activate this whole Uranus, Taurus, Mars, South Node, and Venus, Moon nodes. The nodes in Venus, everything gets involved with this, all right? So maybe, Wendy, you ready to talk about this? Who knows? This is just going to be so exciting. And I don't really think that we need to talk about Uranus so much as trauma as a transit. I think as a transit, we talk about it as enlightening, awakening, freedom. Because I really, really think it isn't healthy, personally, to put that level of negativity into the subconscious. Yes, if you don't wake up, Uranus wakes you up. But it doesn't always have to be, especially if you're listening to astrology, such a dramatic thing. If you're already listening to something like this and you're interested enough in astrology, you probably have some tools to work with Uranus and to take that organizational energy of Vishnu and reorganize your value system. And in this case, this looks like the boy-girl thing. It looks like the emotional self-reliance, looking at how all these Moon Venus is self-reliance, self-sufficiency, getting our feeling nature and emotional nature together, really working on getting these two things to work together so that we are not codependent, but we have the goddess dignity and energy to be self-reliant and self-fulfilling and all of these good keywords that are in the EA glossary, all right? Self-reliance and emotionally not being codependent. Moon, Venus, and Leo makes it kind of easy. And then opposite Mars, though, you know, that the Moon, Mars, Venus, Mars opposition is not a cakewalk, but it's a very creative. And the Leo Aquarius nodes are very creative. And so here, I have a little bit of a plug for myself. Here is the monomyth and the stages of the aspects on the monomyth. And here is how to find my new book on my website. For those of you who don't know me, who are watching the video, you can find out some pretty interesting things about the gates of Venus as an evening star that are new and a little bit Uranus, South Node ascendant me. All right, so I want to see if anyone has any questions about the next gate or about this last gate? We have 4 minutes.
Yes, Tashi, thank you. What a great presentation. The next gate of Venus, the fourth gate at 3 Leo, will be on my midheaven.
Ooh.
Yeah, like 1 degree from the midheaven in the 10th house. So what do you think of that?
Well, I think that we all love you so much, Linda. And for those of you who don't know Linda, who started this PA Zoom and has helped Jeffrey so much, who we love so much, I think you're going to get some more accolades probably with the Moon Venus North Node, not just from me, but many, many people. And I think the midheaven is the true south in the chart. And in the south, that's where the sun is at the highest in the sky. And I think for us, what we see about the midheaven is our status changes when something like that happens. So there should be a status change. Now, with Moon Venus opposite Mars, could you remarry? Yeah, could you? You know, could
yes.
Yeah. Could a child remarry? You know,
Thank you, Sam.
It's a status change.
Oh, my daughter could. She could fall pregnant.
Pregnant? It's a status change. When something's on that midheaven,
oh wow,
reputation, but when it's a Venus moon, it's probably a very good reputation.
Oh, excellent.
With Mars on the 4th house cusp, opposite it, and Uranus in the T-square to it, you're going to see, you know, like in Hawaii, it's a volcano. That's what this is.
Oh,
right. Mother Nature is raging, and that's that Mars-Uranus energy. For me, it is. And so you'll have to watch your home carefully and make sure that you're like not, I would make very sure that I wasn't restricting anybody's freedom in my home with that Aquarius energy. And also with Aquarius, I really feel like put an amethyst in wherever that Mars is in your own chart. You know, is that in the north for you in the 4th house?
6th.
The Mars will be in the 6th. Okay, so the 6th is the...
Oh, sorry, you mean this Mars? It'll be in the 4th.
Yeah, so then that's the north of your chart. So in the north of my house, if I'm worried about Mars, I just go put an amethyst in the north. It's called Vastu.
Oh, okay, I will.
Yeah, it helps. I think it helps.
Well, I actually already have an amethyst in the north, so I'll give it a clean and a polish. And
yeah, and then in general, you can put a Shiva there too because Mars lives there. Oh no, it doesn't live there. It doesn't live there.
Shiva. Okay, I'll make a note of that. Okay, we have 2 minutes. Any other questions? Thank you, Tashi.
Okay, and I'm just going to go back to the screen while I say goodbye to everybody so all the newbies can find my book. Yay, look at me, I wrote a book. You guys will all write books and you'll feel like a mother that gave birth. And Linda wrote an introduction and it's beautiful. She helped me a lot. Thank you. All right, so.
Okay, we've got 2 minutes. Any final questions, comments?
I noticed that there's going to be soon no more VPPs in Scorpio, and it's all moving to Libra, right?
Yes.
So what does that ultimately mean, and what is that shift change?
It means that, well, a lot of people who've written about this before I have, like Melanie Reinhardt, you can read her, and Linda, who are the other ones? There's some good writers about this.
Ariel Gutman.
Yeah, they've both written about it. They think, they're very optimistic that it means that we're going to get out of all of our power trips.
Okay, great.
I've never seen humanity get out of its power trips, so I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, more peace, more
like more away from war and more towards peace. Is that
That's
what you
it.
mean?
Yes.
That's what they're saying, and I really hope they're right, you know.
Me too.
I really hope they're right. So I'm going to vote for that, even though I think
yeah, me too.
I think maybe diplomacy, the Libra diplomacy thing could be something that begins to really work.
Yes.
Okay.
The other piece too is this whole cycle that we're in now that we're completing through the Venus star is all Aries, and then in November we start in a new Libra cycle for 19 months, right?
You have to teach. You have to promise me you're going to teach this because
I promise I'm working on it.
It is a huge subject. Huge. We need more people. Wendy, you have to get up here and do one of these. Maybe you co-teach the next one with me.
She is. She's going to.
Okay, that would be fun, Tashi.
Okay, good. Well, you can do the gates with me, the next ones. We'll do them together.
Okay.
And Linda too, because anybody knows anything about this,
Yeah.
it's very daunting. I'd love to have a little committee. You know, Kaipacha,
Yeah.
he's doing a committee thing. And I was
A
thinking,
community.
yeah, community committee. And we can do it on EA. They all get on there and they help all these beginners on Saturdays.
I started a membership forum on my new website. We could do it there.
Okay.
Or wherever. But I have the capability to do it now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then that could also be the midheaven thing, you know.
Oh yeah, excellent. Also, the Aries Venus star is moving into Pisces.
Oh,
So
wow.
we have even more like Venus and Pisces together. That is like amazing.
It is.
And and a move away from this sort of like profane sexuality kind of thing, and more of a spiritual relationships.
When does it do that, Linda?
That won't be for quite a while. The Pisces one, I think, is much later, but I think the first one, Erica said that, did she? Who said that it was moving into Libra?
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah.
It is. It's in my book. I'm trying to find it quickly. It's in my book.
I think it's 2020.
It's 2022 is the last.
2020.
Yeah, so it's October 22nd, 2022, page 52 of my book. Libra, and it's a direct evening star. Okay.
Beautiful.
So that makes a big difference. And
yeah. I have the EA glossary, and I've been reading through the Libra section, but
I read that book.
absorbing it. Yeah, I have to read it like 3 or 4 times to absorb it
God bless
properly.
You writing that book. That must have been Herculean, Linda, because I just read it.
It took 7 years.
It's amazing. I love it. 604 pages.
I love
Only
it. I love Jeff Green.
Could do that.
And we love EA, and we love Jeff Green, and we love Tashi. So Tashi, that brings us to the end of your meeting.
Okay.
What a beautiful meeting with beautiful volunteers, and we're looking forward to the next one, and you'll be doing the next 3 gates.
Okay.
Okay, in a few months' time, we'll all get together again, and we'll do this again.
All right, everybody. Nice to see you all.
Would you all please thank Tashi Powers, everyone?
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tashi. Thank you. And everybody else.
Thanks, Tashi.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Bye, ladies.
Bye-bye. Just published a book, so I guess I have to